Bro, that little how dare you girl?
Yeah.
How dare you? You know, the climate change girl? You know, the little autistic girl? Now she's free Palestine. She's singing things off her phone. Now she's at the front of a boat like George Washington, making its way to Gaza.
Whatever the environment.
Bro, it's like there she is.
Is the environment done?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
She's got a nice boat.
From the river to the rising sea levels.
She's going to fix it.
Dude.
She's going to break the Israeli naval blockade.
I'm working on it. Got more.
Bro, those IDF guys are going to turn her into cat food. They will light her up from the fucking shore before she's even close. They don't play no
Everyone's
games.
Both sides are gonna blow that boat.
Yeah, they don't play no games.
They see it.
Yeah. They actually maybe come together on who gets to blow it up. Maybe that can bridge the gap here.
Greta Thunberg just unlocked a new side quest in her Eco Crusader RPG, the Gaza Expedition, because after yelling at world leaders, doing stiff photo ops, and giving TED Talks that sound like she's scolding her dad for using a gas stove, the obvious next move is stumbling into a geopolitical war zone with the energy of a moody Pinterest quote.
What is that lady? That lady's moral outrage at what have you done? How dare you?
How dare you?
And everybody's like, yes, we like what you just did. And so now you do it all the time. And so now somehow or another, a 16-year-old kid travels all over the world telling everybody they're bad, flying around in jet. For a child to be in a position where they become virtuous, they love that. And again, I'm not saying that like Greta Thunberg is not an intelligent person, because she clearly is, and she's very young. And again, I was way dumber than her when I was her age. But what she said was not this extraordinary message of wisdom that would merit the kind of attention that she got. And it's not within her power as a 16-year-old to get in front of all these people. So it's kind of like a form of exploitation. It's a willing exploitation, but you're using her as a political pawn.
Greta, with the emotional depth of a wet recycling bin and the life experience of someone who scolds Germans at vending machines, now wants to save Gaza, because clearly a teen with a weather app and a glare is what centuries of conflict needed.
Your reaction to the IDF boarding Greta Thunberg's so-called freedom yacht. What did you think of this little expedition by Greta Thunberg? Did she achieve her aims? I mean, she certainly got a lot of international attention, which is what I guess she's really after. She's in the business of attention seeking.
This PR stunt of hers has spectacularly failed. It was always going to. I mean, this narcissist Greta Thunberg, who just has spent so many years being so hysterical about climate change, and now she's, showing support for Hamas on this ship, which was absolutely ridiculous.
There she goes, flanked by guilt-fueled activists, gripping a megaphone like it's Thor's hammer, as if shouting, "How dare you?" is going to make Hamas trade rockets for recycling bins. It's like a climate-themed school play crashed into a war dock, except it's real. And what's Greta's master plan? Solar panels for Hamas? A tote bag for the IDF? Maybe she yell at a drone strike to stop because it's not carbon neutral. Her Gaza mission makes as much sense as building a bike lane through mortar and expecting Sauron to carpool.
About Greta Thunberg, who had been kidnapped, and I got to admit, it was the most strange kidnapping you've ever seen in your life. The IDF intercepted her boat as it headed towards Gaza, and having kidnapped her, they plied her with water and sandwiches. Then they took her to safety, where they requested she watch a video, the horrific atrocities committed by Hamas on October 7. Greta Thunberg, when she realized what that video was, refused to watch. And so next minute, these evil kidnappers put her on a plane back to Europe, from whence she had come.
You've got to give her credit, she's got range. One day she's scolding Europe for boiling pasta, the next she's in a war zone acting like the eco-friendly Lara Croft. Minus the skills, the context, or any clue how global conflict actually works.
But this is when they going to Palestine, is like those people going to the unchartable islands and be like, "Hi, I'm Christian."
Yeah, like North Sentinel Island.
Jesus, you've forsaken me.
That's just crazy.
Bro.
Or the white social worker who goes into Baltimore ghetto. He's like, "Hey, everybody, I'm here," and they just beat the fuck out of him.
Joe Rogan saw this circus and nearly choked on his elk meat. The guy interviews astronauts, neuroscientists, and Bigfoot truthers, but even he wasn't ready for Greta's Gaza arc. It's like spray painting peace on a burning building and calling it architecture, not brave, not deep, Just dangerously clueless virtue signaling. Nothing screams, look at me, like dropping into a war zone with the subtlety of a vegan parade at a Texas BBQ and her fans. Eating it up like organic tofu farmed by unicorns posting from Teslas, oat milk in hand, typing, "This is courage." No, sweetie, courage is a paramedic running toward danger. Not a teen eco-influencer flying into conflict with the emotional GPS of a toddler discovering injustice.
Any reasonable person would look at Gaza and go, this seems kind of excessive. This seems kind of fucking crazy.
Right.
It seems kind of crazy that 70,000 people or whatever it is are dead, including women and children. Like, this is the only way to do it? Really? Any reasonable person, that doesn't make you anti-Semitic. It doesn't make you anti-Zionist. It doesn't make you anything. It just like doesn't make you pro-Hamas. Like, no, it
Could be pro-human.
Yeah, human beings.
I don't think humans should be murdered.
Greta's got that glazed messianic stare again, you know the one. That 1,000-yard gaze of someone who skimmed the Eon report and now thinks she's the Nordic Gandhi. Forget centuries of religious, political, and territorial chaos. She's here with a cardboard sign, a hand-knitted despair sweater, and a fresh moral tantrum. And you just know she made the trip carbon neutral. Probably rode a llama caravan across Europe, fueled by anxiety and compost dreams, with a sad cello playing in the background. Because nothing says urgent crisis like adding 5 days to avoid a flight, meanwhile on the ground. People are dodging real bombs while Greta tries to spark a ceasefire with kids who think tweeting in all caps ends wars.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up because it's one of my favorites.
How come you never protest Saudi Arabia or Russia? You only protest Western energy. Why have you never criticized Vladimir Putin or OPEC?
Yeah, I've never done that. Never, ever.
Will you do so now? Will you condemn OPEC energy? Have you ever been on a private jet even once?
I own 100 private jets.
Well, have you been on, how about once? Have you ever been on a private jet?
All the time, yes.
I wonder why you won't answer me in a straight answer.
Greta, where did you learn everything you know about things like climate change? Where did you learn all that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wish I knew.
So if you wish you knew, how do you know so much? Surely if you know so much, you would know where you learned all this from, surely.
Who has said that I know so much?
Well, because you are deemed as an expert worldwide when it comes to climate change. You speak on global stages when it comes to climate change. And ultimately, some of the things you say lead global policy.
And of course Instagram. You just know there was a slow-mo montage of her walking through rubble like she's auditioning for Greta Goes Global, from CO to ceasefires. Welcome to the age of performative peace tourism, where activism's less about impact and more about crafting sainthood. She stood in Gaza, surrounded by chaos, and instead of reflecting on her limits, she gave the same face she uses when yelling at glaciers. Because clearly, what this war zone needed was a Swedish teen lecturing about carbon footprints under missile fire. Let's be clear, this isn't bravery. It's cosplay with consequences. Cosplay with a camera crew, a pre-written speech, and a 7 p.m. TikTok drop. Greta in Gaza is like sending a barista to fix a nuclear reactor, completely unqualified, but weirdly confident she knows better than the experts.
By the way, that Greta Thunberg girl, the climate girl who yelled at everybody, she's Person of the Year on Time Magazine.
Hey,
Let's go. Is everybody losing their fucking mind?
I think so.
She's, wasn't she on a strike? Look, obviously climate change is a real thing. Climate change is a real important thing. Let's just get that out of the way for anyone who's like,
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, what is she? 14, 15, 16. No. No, by complaining on television, it doesn't make you the most important person of the year or the most impactful person of the year. You just got lucky that right around the time where they were making this list, you did that thing. They're like, let's pick Greta. Let's pick Greta. It'll trigger Trump. Oh, Trump will get triggered.
Even Joe Rogan, who's interviewed people who think mushrooms whisper secrets, had to ask, what galaxy of arrogance makes you think climate clout works in geopolitics? If Rogan's eyebrows go up, you know the circus is in town. And, of course, Greta had to make it about the environment. Missiles flying, civilians running, buildings collapsing, and there she is, squinting at the smoke, asking, wait, is that carbon neutral? In Greta's magical realm, war crimes are just side effects of not going solar fast enough. According to St. Greta, if we'd swapped diesel trucks for bikes and slapped panels on tanks, peace would have broken out. Faster than a TikTok dance trend? Because it's always the climate. Forest fire, climate drought, climate bad hair day? Definitely climate. Your Uber's late, blame fossil fuels? Stub your toe, global warming. For Greta, climate is the universal. Remote of excuses, press the button and suddenly everything makes sense.
Greta. The woke types come along and say, you know, the planet's a virgin, the great father's a tyrant, you could be a hero if you just stood up to that. And the kids think, well, I'd like to do something important with my life. And so they're just caught into that immediately. But because it's a one-sided story, a one-sided religious story is an ideology.
And a great representation of that is what they've done with Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny, you know, because I thought 10 years ago, we live in the delusion of a disturbed 13-year-old girl. How did that happen? And then, you know, Greta Thunberg showed up and I thought, oh, well, there we go. Now we've got the 13-year-old. I feel sorry for her, you know, because she was chased into this apocalyptic terror that we're trying to enforce on all our kids.
Forget ceasefires, Greta wants solar-powered tanks, windmill grenade launchers, and biodegradable bullets that scream eco-friendly as they dissolve midair. The only war she supports runs entirely on renewable energy. Hummus, don't fire. Unless your rockets are wind-powered and made from upcycled bamboo. IDF, no drone strikes unless they run on vegan fuel and come with compost bins. If your artillery isn't LEED certified and ethically sourced, you're part of the problem. And let's not forget her human wall of teen despair trailing behind. Greta never travels solo. She rolls in with a battalion of adolescents who look personally betrayed by a plastic straw. Each one clutches a clipboard, a frown, and a lifelong grudge against disposable cups. It's like the Justice League if their superpower was making you feel guilty for using shampoo. Imagine the goth version of Power Rangers, but instead of morphing into giant robots, they shame corporations on Instagram and drop TikToks about ocean acidification.
They gave Israel the green light to just go ham. And now when you see the overhead drone footage of what Gaza looks like now, it's hard to even believe that it's real. When you destroy an entire city, look at this footage. This is unbelievable. I mean, this looks like they got hit with an asteroid.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. The scope of it. It's just insane.
Yeah.
It's insane to say.
This Gaza detour wasn't just a PR stunt, it was a full-blown stage production of her martyr complex. Nothing says, I'm saving the planet, like strutting into a war zone with the face of someone who just realized her oat milk expired. She wandered through rubble like it was a planetarium tour called Extinction, the live experience, silently judging the destruction like a bad Airbnb review. To Greta, real tragedies are just climate-themed field trips. Walk slowly, absorb the chaos, blog dramatically, then leave with a tote bag that says, "This planet is hot enough." Meanwhile, actual aid workers are pulling 14-hour shifts trying to save lives. Journalists are dodging rockets. Medics are praying for supplies, and Greta? She's tweeting, "This is unacceptable, thanks, Eco Sherlock." You really cracked the case wide open.
We have not been listening. The people in power have not been listening.
I have come here for a climate demonstration, not a political fool. This is time to be fair.
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
The people of Gaza weren't sure how bad things were until Greta uploaded a black and white photo captioned, "No justice, no peace, no clean energy." Naturally, she took the chance to roast her usual villains, governments, evil corporations, and probably Elon Musk's Wi-Fi satellites, clearly responsible for both climate change and her bad connection. If it sends a signal or makes money, Greta's against it. She burns more fuel blaming capitalism than most airlines use in a month, which, of course, she also hates. But Greta's true superpower isn't activism, it's guilt merchandising. She can weaponize a frown like nobody else. She doesn't enter rooms, she descends like a sanctimonious storm cloud. The second she shows up, everyone else becomes morally bankrupt by default. She's not here to help, she's here to shame humanity into composting their guilt. One glare from her could make an oil exec cry and promise to plant 1,000 trees. With his own tears, let's not pretend she did anything in Gaza, a solemn photo op. A few cryptic tweets that read like Hunger Games fan fiction, and a dramatic speech no one asked for. No policies changed, no ceasefire, no progress, but hey, her engagement numbers were fire. Twitter was lit, and Instagram? Crying emojis on loop.
Pete. Now, the Swedish activist Greta Thunberg was also, part of this mission. She has now left the country. The Israeli Foreign Ministry posted a picture of her on a flight, and she's now traveling to France before she continues, her journey back to Sweden. So all these 12 activists are expected to be deported, if not today, in the next few days.
The algorithm loves a pout in a war zone. In the end, Greta's Gaza tour wasn't activism, it was optics. She's mastered the art of showing up, frowning meaningfully, blaming humanity, and walking away with a shiny new martyr badge and a flood of new followers, and maybe that's the real climate emergency. A world where performative outrage gets more applause than real solutions. In Greta land, attention equals impact. If enough people retweet her crying in front of rubble, she wins. Forget policy. Forget peace talks. This is the age of outrage as aesthetic, and Greta is its crowned queen. Buzzing with indignation, delivering. No honey. Back in Europe, her fans went ballistic if anyone dared question her. She's raising awareness. They cried like Gaza was some underground crisis no one knew about until Greta showed up in a biodegradable poncho with a dream. Imagine if Joe Rogan pulled the same stunt flu into Syria with a podcast mic and said, "Let's heal with elk meat and kettlebells." He'd be a meme by morning. But Greta? Cue the Nobel whispers. This isn't activism. It's clout chasing. With a halo, it's branding wrapped in fake bravery. Greta turned tragedy into a photo shoot, and the worst part? People still clap on command like trained seals. She left Gaza exactly how she came, smug, untouched, spiritually inflated. Nothing. Charges Greta's battery like chaos she didn't fix. She fly back, give another speech, update her bio to global witness, and wait for the next crisis she can cosplay in. Meanwhile, the people she left behind? Still suffering? Still in danger. But hey, they've got Greta's Pityand, a blurry picture of her standing next to what used to be a wall.